play amazingly. It's like I promised them something after, like crab pot or something. So once they get to Korea, they're going to have all the food that they want, and they're going to be wreaking havoc possibly. But who's going to be doing it in first place, chat? We're about to find out right now. We're going back onto the Rift. We are into Game 5, Cloud9 versus Team Solo Mid, and this is about to happen.
All right, no pause this time. We're good to go. Ward start for Amazing right now. That's the same thing that Meteos started with during his Elise game. Remember, last game was kind of thrown out the window as far as game plans are concerned when High was first blooded. You do not often see those first bloods. We've seen a fair amount of them actually during the playoffs, though.
Are we going to get 2 huge team fights at level 1 again? Because I love that. We actually will have that go in one team's favor so much, but it came out slightly even until, like you said, TSM was pretty much able to turn things around in that mid game. So not as much craziness coming out this time. The not want to lose is definitely coming into play here. So the gameplay should be slow. Rings to Doran's, blades on both sides. It looks like top lane's going to be matching up equally with a little bit more on the support side of Dyrus as he's chomping down some cookies. So good movement by Cloud9. Both teams getting privy knowledge of what's going to be going on towards the boss. Everything they need. Everything quite simple.
Yeah, there's always that question of whether Cloud9 decides to switch up the lanes for this one. They've had success laning Braum with Maokai, just withstanding the harass. It always looks a little scary, but they've managed to do it in both of these games. And Sneaky has turned himself into quite a solo lane threat. He's done it with Trist and Kog'Maw. This time he's going to try his hands at Corki. And that looks like the setup that Cloud9 is going for. Now the question will be, when the teams have been on this side of the map, their rotations and their jungle patterns have been nearly identical every single time. It's been Meteos starting blue buff going to red, and then looping all the way up top to go for Dyrus. If one team, it's a big mind game here because they know what happened in the other games. They've figured out what they've done. Does one team try to counter, or do they just completely switch it up because it's a game 5?
Not much in the room of countering right now, but it would be the first stone thrown here. It looks like they're going to be doing Wolves Wraith, so easy start for this. It would be surprised if Meteos were to go for that top lane. It would be kind of hard to get the kill onto Dyrus, especially with the Sneaky on Corki. So it'll be interesting to see. That early ward again from Amazing. And we are off and running. Both junglers towards the bottom side now. We finally get the 2v2 matchup chat here. Lustboy trying to gain brush control, elimination as well, getting right in his face.
Yeah, they used...
Well, that's 2v2, but yeah,
they used the Targon right there, or the Relic Shield, to push the wave a little bit early. I actually wonder if TSM's going to try and freeze a little bit, because there's a chance they could deny some experience now that Balls and Lemon have decided to push.
Back and forth, you see High using the Steel Tempest to get that cleared as much as Bjergsen is trying to push it into the turret. Nice block by Lemonation. Just a very nice back and forth. So much harass going down with the farm in these lanes. It's the small advantages they're trying to be gained.
Yeah, Cloud9 just doing the sapling shove right now. But at the same time, if they take a little bit more harass, they will not be able to stay in lane. Dangerous game they're playing down there.
Sneaky trying to deny Dyrus a little bit of experience here. He's not going to lose pretty much anything off of that, but little games.
And check this out from TSM. They were so prepared for that Meteos roam. Instead of trying to counter it, they just gave Dyrus the absolute best vision. Both of the jungle exits that Meteos could have taken to make it to the top lane have been well warded by TSM.
When Dyrus has been able to live in the top lane, he is able to put up numbers for the team. So to get him going, really good in the playoffs. He seemed to turn a switch here coming in this weekend. Bjergsen with the clockwork wind-up passive. Good tongue twister there. As he starts hitting down onto High. And here we have the first movement from Amazing. He's going to be hatching that ward, though. So knowledge of him is going to allow Meteos a little free play here. What does he decide to do with it?
Focusing on this High and Bjergsen lane once again. Something that High has, more so than a lot of mid laners, is an incredibly short memory as far as forgetting mistakes. Even if he's died 10 times in a previous game, he'll turn around and have a fantastic game afterwards. I guess it's a selectively short memory. He remembers the good plays and always forgets the bad ones.
See what he did
in order to perform and not go on tilt.
Absolutely. That's a huge thing to have as well. not worrying about what happened in the past. Let it go and move on to that next game. Especially putting himself on a different champion now. He's got to have a clear mind. 5 minutes into this one, nobody has a big lead. But we're seeing that textbook push here on that melee lane on the bottom side. Turtle getting close, but he does not get any extra damage under the turret.
And there's no summoner heal for these guys, so it's just the exhaust that would be on Lemon Nation if they decide to fall in here.
That's really passive, you're right.
I wonder if this is the time or the game where the lane breaks. Balls has already used his teleport to make it back here. He's just so good at being passive under this turret with the Braum shield to prevent all ins. They are losing out the battle CS here, though, because you can see Maokai 23 CS, but this time Dyrus is farming very well against Sneaky. So he's basically matching his farm. Meanwhile, Wild Turtle would be a good 22 ahead of Balls. This lane setup, while it has been successful for Cloud9 in 2 games prior, isn't nearly as successful this match.
You can see how much consideration Dyrus put into that tri-bush. 3 steps back, trying to taunt somebody out of it. He's like, I think it's finally clear. And of course it is. Meteos is here taking Wraiths right now. No real windows for either of the junglers to get in just yet. And where that ward was placed by Amazing, and Meteos cleared it out, he actually placed the pink ward. Not really seen them placed there before. Right next to the mid turret.
Yeah. You can see they're on high alert, for sure.
Absolutely.
Trying to account for any type of sneaky move each other would make. What this game 5 is all about. Momentum plays such a heavy part.
The first kill must
game 5.
feel so different than any other
nice,
game.
Though. They're going for such an early dragon, knowing that the AD carry was top and they would have a teleport advantage with an ultimate. This is the perfect timing. It's something they didn't do in either of their first 2 games.
And they have the shield.
Check it. They're going to try for a steal, but that is a really dangerous steal.
Lustboy has the number on this juggling. He's been doing it so well. That's not going to be the steal. In and out, actually, for Meteos, which is not going to help for early initiations on him. And TSM comes out clean there.
Yeah, it means Cloud9 can't trade anything else for it either because they actually did make the move to go down. It's just there's no objective to actually warrant that move anymore. Really nice play there. TSM is beating Cloud9 to the punch.
Yep. Hardly taking any damage on it as well. Allows them to go back quickly without being stopped in their backs and just come back to lane. Sneaky trying to deny everything he can as we have him switched back around. Maokai's going to go back to the top now. 33 to 55 there. See if Dyrus tries to take initiative on Walls. 6 as well to level 5 here in the bottom lane as Elimination knows Sneaky's going to be safe to go forward.
Yeah, and while we have a moment, the junglers taking their second set of buffs. I really just want to say, I think it's a really good thing for the North American region that they're challenging each other at this level. Last year, Cloud9 went in very lackadaisically to the finals. Whew. Of course, I thought I had a minute when Sneaky gets aggressive. He has the level advantage on Turtle right now, which is one of the big reasons those missiles are cutting in down. But yeah, Cloud9 was never challenged in North America last year, which made them a little bit lazy coming into Worlds. With the struggle they've had in the regular season and the battle that TSM has given them in these finals, win or lose, it's just going to create completely different mindsets for both of these guys going in. Cloud9 because they know they can be challenged, and TSM because they know even if North America may not be the strongest region, they can be right at the top of it.
Absolutely. It's kind of hard to work on things when you're always winning. That's what Cloud9 kind of walked into that with, and they said, well, it's not going to work here. Everything's been changed up since for a lot of teams. And right now, this is what they need to bring to Worlds. 72% in that vote. Swaying quite hard in favor of Team Solo Mid with a 1,000 gold lead and still pressuring the level up. Still not 6 on the side of TSM. 7s and 5s coming in for Sneaky and Elimination as they harass but freeze nicely in that bottom lane.
Yeah, still the early game going slightly to TSM. The lane swap that Cloud9 pulled off was heavily punished by TSM this game. Sneaky got a 1 level advantage, but it cost them so many objectives. And that ward being taken out by Amazing, that was to protect against a sideways gank there. That's one of Elise's favorite jungle paths. However, he just goes forward and takes it out.
Dyrus not being able to do too much. Ball's keeping himself safe there, but they still keep the deficit. Dyrus has that good lead. Bjergsen with his levels again. On the ball move, Hyde did the same thing last time to just keep that CS coming as well as dodging these skill shots. looks like he will be denying high CS as well. Not too bad though, 98 to 95 in that lane as Cloud9 just goes with pressure and numbers here. They're not worried about it. They want to start taking things. It's going to be bottom turret first.
They're going to end up trading these turrets though. Dyrus had some free time in that top lane. He takes his down as well. So that is a trade of the level advantages basically. I also liked how Cloud9 funneled that gold into Sneaky. The turret has a certain amount of local gold that it gives away to anyone who's near, and everyone else ran away, so Sneaky got the full 150 local gold from that turret, instead of it being split amongst his partners.
Still keeping with the Triforce build. He has the same kind of mechanics he can work with here, coming in on that movement speed he's going to be getting. Keeping himself safe, but also in a dangerous position. Something Wild Turtle's been getting himself into quite a bit, but coming out on top these games. A quadra kill previously on his Trist. Something TSM's looking to get out of him again this game. Ball's now getting the minion wave in his favor, but he's not even going to give Dyrus any trouble. It themes for him already, and the mid lane for Bjergsen as well. Good spikes before 11 minutes in.
Absolutely. With the Dragon being up in 2 minutes, I don't think Balls can make it to his Rod of Ages. He's a good chunk of gold behind. The Static Shiv being on high is rather important. He's farmed very well against Orianna, actually. Also, as far as combat effectiveness, Meteos finishing his Elder Lizard, amazing with Sightstone. But is that lack of vision going to cost Balls his life?
Twisted advance just for movement. Nothing's really going to help him. He has a flash for over the wall towards the white here if he wants to try and do it, but he's going to go for the forward flash. Oh, Meteos thought he had it, but he used the Q. Or Amazing, rather, sorry. Takes down the kill.
Yeah, at least he made Amazing use his flash, but he was unable to escape that one. Nice kill there by Amazing. Also going to delay Balls' Rod of Ages even farther.
Meteos making some moves, trying to get the sweeper at least to get a little return on investment there, but they find no wards. Elimination's going to alert them of this rotation. Mid turret could be going down quite soon here, but they're clearing for the Dragon. So Dragon mid, definitely a possibility here as C9 is going to be setting up for this as well. Teleports up on both sides.
Heavy, heavy pink ward control by TSM around this Dragon. And very lackluster vision from Cloud9. You can see them throwing that over the wall Dragon ward. Lemon just not able to get control here. No pink ward investments currently on the map for Cloud9. And they're also going to have to match with the teleport, which is tricky with Maokai. While Maokai's a nice guy to be able to teleport in, he kind of needs to be there at the start in order for him to have an effective team fight, because he's the guy who initiates. Having your initiator come in late means you lose all control.
Dyrus and the rest of the team looking to get back on that. Such a spread out initiation Cloud9 would have on this. They're kind of pinching from each side. Ball's coming down from the top now, and this one's going to definitely tell us how this game will be played out for the next 5-10 minutes. Still the mid lanes fighting each other as they're going back and forth here in the river.
Not much damage landed by Cloud9. You can tell how tense this game is right now. These guys really just waiting for the right skill shot to land.
Glacial Fisher actually separating the fight. Dyrus finds himself alone here as he comes in from the top lane. Still teleport there if he needs to go back and come to the Dragon, but Cloud9 could have it by then. No, over the wall. Dyrus saves himself. High's not going to be able to dash to him anymore, so he gets himself out. But that is big. Whoa, 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 whoa. Dyrus trying to back way too early. Meteos uses the last bit of mana. Somehow Dyrus squeaks out alive once again, and I don't think we're going to get a Dragon out of this at all.
Here's the thing, though. Cloud9 burned so much right there. Dyrus still with his teleport could always come back in if Cloud9 decides to start this Dragon. It's very dangerous for Cloud9 to be starting this Dragon right here.
They pinch it in. A ward is already sitting inside Dragon Pit or outside. Two safe spots for Dyrus to teleport to on this one. He will
already in the back.
One in the shockwave on the side of Bjergsen. They lock down high. That's 30 seconds on the clock. Dyrus is already back as we saw, and they're going to start fighting it.
Big missiles from Sneaky, though. This Dragon hits back pretty hard, and Cloud9 does not want to let this one go, despite High being dead.
Sneaky with quite a bit of mana to start throwing out those bombs. Big ones coming up as well, but he cannot get the area of effect he needs. Great trade back.
Are you kidding me?
Gets the Dragon as they watch TSM prep it.
Times the smite with his Void Spikes. He's now 1 out of 2 on Dragon Steals. That one, though, keeping Cloud9 in the game.
Very nicely done. TSM knows they have to pressure back a little bit, Jat, so it's going to be a dragon, but we see both teams giving each other much respect as they meet face-to-face here in the 5th game.
Yeah, and I mean, this is indicative of the way the team comps are built from TSM's perspective. Their ability to find initiations is not that great, so when they have an advantage, they have to be very careful about the way they proceed. That time they did get the kill down onto high because of a nice shockwave from Bjergsen, but until Wild Turtle's much more farmed, they won't be able to turn those into really big fight wins. Whereas if Cloud9 actually pulls ahead by a few thousand gold, it's much easier for them to force and end the game, putting TSM in a slightly precarious position.
Sneaky as well with the Triforce built, so when they get up to the turrets, they're going to be falling down fast as well. Dyrus doing what he can with Glitter. It's a little slower, but you're still able to take down turrets.
Yeah. Luckily for TSM, they actually have the lead right now. So Cloud9 running away with it isn't a concern right now. As well, if we think hyper late game, the Tristana is unmatched as far as AD carries are concerned. And Sneaky will have to just do this damage from afar.
Yep, Wild Turtle's not afraid to put himself in any carry position either. He'll jump right into the fight as we've seen before and shoot people backwards for the initiation of the good. 24.2 to 22.4, 3-1 is TSM still coming up on turrets in the majority of these games. Then applying the map vision, which is a little bit less than they have been. But they're getting in what they need. Nice try there.
That is a really
nice
good point
there,
about Cloud9 not having turret control. I mean, TSM has pushed more so than Cloud9 in almost all of these games. I can't remember one where Cloud9's been up in turrets early. TSM definitely having the early games very well planned out.
A little back and forth. He should have at least golems to get to if it really gets dangerous. But he's already got Dyrus for safety. No rotation up from anybody here, so it looks like Cloud9's just trying to grab another outer turret and actually get themselves some of that gold back.
High activating split push right now. There's not much TSM can use to level him out. That's some mean poke.
Oh, is Meteo's making the move? He is going to be close enough. Throws down the ulti. Dyrus wild growths him before he can get off the initial attack. They still get the assist on him from the slow. And whoa indeed, even with the wild growth addition of health, he went down quick.
I mean, take what you will about this start from Cloud9, where they're ending up losing some early game turrets, but Sneaky having level 11 at that point was one of the main reasons they were able to force that kill. Level 2 in his rockets, much more damage than Dyrus was able to respect with the blue buff. Very, very well earned, and now they even out the game.
Yeah, it's very evened out with that. Dyrus going down along with the turret, giving Sneaky what he wants. He's going to be able to capitalize a lot more with that cash money. We see not Moby Boots coming in for elimination this time. He's going to be going for the Merc Treads himself. And we actually see the Scepter coming out for Sneaky so he can start sustaining. It looks like Cloud9 wants to get themselves in a little more of an aggressive position here with some of the buys are going out. Radovage is already stacking up for balls. Good things on their side for core items. But like we said, Athenes and whatnot have already been finished for quite a while on TSM's side. They haven't been utilized too much.
Yeah, the death cap will be the next item spike for the TSM team. Maybe the Zhonya's as well, if Bjergsen and Dyrus decide to go the more defensive route in fear of Yasuo. But even so, it's still a very, very tense game here. A lot of it is just understanding the power spikes of when they can get items together. Right now, Sneaky is the powerful one. That won't change for quite a while, actually.
Hey. It was a good cocoon, I'll give you guys that.
And now it's actually a nice split push. You can see the void spikes keeping TSM at bay while High gets some free time at this turret. Meteos though decides to let him through.
This is where Cloud9 starts to feel really comfortable. If they know they can start spreading them thin, they might get their pinch initiations in. Oh, whoa.
They caught him.
Sneaky getting caught. Not even enough time to Valkyrie. Fast fingers coming in from TSM.
And they're collapsing onto High right here.
Collapsing indeed. Wild Turtle's going to get hit off. That's not enough damage to kill him right away. The exhaust comes out. They knock him back. The flash goes over the wall, and that just means Dyrus gets a kill for himself.
Oh, we know what happens when Dyrus gets going in a TSM game right now. 2-1-2 on that Lulu, picking up a couple nice kills off the back end of other teams' initiations.
And High giving his head a scratch there. The call's not working out the way they wanted. The crowd now behind TSM. Cloud9 fans hoping for that comeback to happen. It's not anywhere out of their means to win this game yet. 29.9 to 28, but that was a nice pull by TSM.
All of it started with Bjergsen just making a play onto Sneaky. It's very rare that we see Sneaky get caught out of position.
Let's see it again.
But just the tail end of that shockwave, valking out of a shockwave is actually not that easy to do because it can still pull you back in mid-valk. And here, High was jumped on. He already had been slowed, so he tried to ultimate to turn around and also give him a more proficient shield. Ends up burning his flash, but that just walks him right into some glitter.
TSM collapsing well, getting what they want out of Cloud9's aggression for the split push, and they're going to have to start thinking twice about that. Elimination in the team, trying to get the wards in that they can, but now stricken to pretty much their own side of the jungle here.
Small difference in the teams here. There is no tidal wave for Lustboy, but against DeBrom, you generally don't have tidal wave anyway. Cloud9 very aggressive starting this dragon because they have pink ward control. They're hoping that TSM over-respects the Cloud9 poke, which is actually happening right now.
Easily taken by Cloud9. Very nicely done, keeping their head in the games, knowing that they need to continue getting for themselves to not lose any bit of ground. The game is still tied in gold.
And this could be a really nice rotation, though, by TSM. Cloud9 is a little bit behind in this rush. The minion wave, though, is kind of contributing to this. I wonder who's going to push faster, actually. Trist pushes very fast. This is a bit of a race.
I don't know, Jat. They do have a few more caster minions coming up. That's one turret down. It was already warmed up coming in from High on the last rush, and it's going to be somewhat of a race for these inhibitor turrets.
What is the plan here? Both teams are sending back a couple of defenders and seeing if they can hold up. The saplings are only doing so much for balls. He's trying to take out these turrets, but that turret is going down fast.
Dyrus almost going down. High is going to be in there taking turret shots. One more comes out. He gets the heal from Sneaky. Almost gets the range. One more Q coming out from Amazing, and he does grab it. Double kill. And this
TSM has no extra defenders right now. This is basically a base race. TSM dope, but that inhibitor could be going down. Nobody is on their way back to base right now for TSM.
Sneaky's doing what he can all by himself. He's got the siege minion to help him through right here. They have the rapid fire help. Steroid coming in from Wild Turtle, and that's a back and forth. Does Sneaky stay? He's out of mana, and it could be very dangerous. The teleport is trying to keep them in with a home guard falls on the other side of the map.
It's an inhibitor trade, but Cloud9 has found some friends.
Falls with the home guard. Teleport goes in on the Wild Turtle. They try to eat him alive, and Elimination's going to land the Winter's Bite. One more shield attack, and he gets him down. Now onto Lustboy. No, Corki is not in the base still, but Cloud9 is stopping TSM from getting the backs they want.
What a trade. Inhibitor for inhibitor, and Cloud9 runs down a few kills because of superior two-man pushing into the top lane. Now they try and push mid because they have the man advantage.
Conflicting chants from the crowd here in Game 5 with 5 kills for both teams. Coincidence? I think not.
And also Cloud9 getting to push up the mid lane right here is so advantageous. They are eliminating the super minions before they can become a threat. They get the turret.
Whoa, whoa, amazing. Going very hard here. They think they have the backup coming in from Bjergsen. He can still get the repel for safety, and that definitely gives Cloud9 something else to think about. Looking at a lot of down summoners here. Sneaky without any mana, but it's just for the pressure. They're going to keep it on to make sure they don't have an easy back.
Just unable to land the Glitter Lances down the stretch. So, power spike-wise as well. After all that happened, yes, Cloud9 gained a lot of edges right there. They took down multiple turrets, and suddenly they're 2,000 gold in the lead. However, double death cap for TSM right now. That's a very strong point of power. High is actually delaying his Blade of the Ruin King for an Infinity Edge right now. So he needs to hit his Infinity Edge or his Blade of the Ruin King before he can actually access that power spike. As far as the second major item being completed, there are more of those on TSM than there are on Cloud9 right now. So team fights would still be very close.
So what's the way that TSM uses this now? If they know TSM or Cloud9 is going to try more split pushing, more High in a different lane when these teleports aren't up, what do they do?
It's the tricky thing because they have pretty much the worst inhibitor to be dead is dead. The one that is the farthest from Baron. It basically means TSM needs a full-time defender. Dyrus doesn't actually have his teleport here. And the more we think about this, Cloud9 actually has some potential to force Baron. Infinity Edge was just completed as well for Cloud9 High.
Wow. So those pieces came to him quite quick, and the damage that he requires. Now the initiation potential is up that much more by Cloud9. They're going to start clearing the wards, and they're going to start creating the pressure. It's exactly what they want to do. 5 turrets across the board, down for each side, a 2,000 gold lead for Cloud9. But the items favor TSM here. Who is going to be the taker of this fight? Because something else in the inhibitor style is going to fall. That's very close for being an initiation.
Cloud9 has lit up this side of the map with wards. They definitely want to start forcing around Baron. They don't have a pink ward right now for inside the pit, which is kind of stopping this from happening. But they do have a window here where Dyrus cannot join, so they know they have forced 5v4s. They need to take some type of advantage out of this.
They now have no wards around Baron. This has to be a different time for them. You may see a two-man group try to get some wards. Right now, it's just going to be amazing, and he will not be seen by High. So no problems going to be had there. The vision in mid keeps them safe. Cloud9 getting what they need, or rather TSM getting what they need as Cloud9 begins their push again. Top lane seems like it's going to be the focus here. A minute 30 on Dragon. They got all the time in the world to play up top.
This is one of those times where you wish you actually bought multiple pink wards. It's something that certain supports do, as they will keep a stock of them in there, because this siege, they don't have time for someone to go back to base while Dyrus is off in the lane. But because they don't have that second pink ward, their Baron control is really lackluster, and it's making them miss out on this golden opportunity where Dyrus was trapped on the other side of the map.
Well, it looks like everybody together. These teleports being down, not making people feel comfortable. Dyrus pulls to the mid lane. Bottom is easily pushed up to the river, so no worry from that. And Baron is really going to have to be the focus here. Sneaky in the team. Start to pressure down mid. As High is on the roam, and TSM have no vision of any of that. They can go a 2 or 3 man here if they get Maokai up there.
Yeah, so all those wards will provide some vision superiority in Baron, but that's actually not what Cloud9 is probably going to be forcing next. They want either a team fight with High or the split push because of his Infinity Edge into the exposed inhibitor.
See if they can find it. 26 minutes into the game. Very, very early into it, and we're getting a lot of action from these two teams. Respect with the poke. Bjergsen still on the front line looking for a nice shockwave. Wild Turtle will not hesitate to jump in. Do they really want Braum here? That is
they're a little bit cut off.
To sweep in. They hit perpendicular to TSM's grouping, and it looks like they're on Amazing. That's going to be big to go down. Can he get a repel up if he's not already used it? He is going to be safe on the backside. A nice tidal wave to disengage a huge amount of damage onto Lustboy, and that is what is coming out of Wild Turtle right now.
This is not TSM's base that they have their back to, though. This is Cloud9's base. They're going to be hitting that inhibitor and forcing Cloud9 in.
Yeah, actually had me confused because the shots are coming this way. Wrong way, guys. Cloud9 need to enter back into your base. TSM's being pushed towards the Nexus, and it looks like Cloud9 is even afraid to get into this one. They have to choke to get in the middle. They have to get in range for that shockwave.
The cooldown discipline of these teams is remarkable. Still no Yasuo ult, still no shockwave until now.
The shockwave! Ball goes in, twisted advance, throws down the Maokai Maelstrom, and it looks like they're going to mitigate enough damage to tear this fight apart in the start. It's going to be Wild Turtle now in the eyes. 4 down for Team Solo Mid. Dyrus is forced to run for the brush, and Cloud9 heads for Baron.
And that is going to be Baron right there. While TSM made the move to get the inhibitor, they missed the shockwave. That absolutely critical spell that Bjergsen picked Orianna for to create a fight was whipped, and Cloud9 absolutely punished them for it.
It happens both ways, Jat. We saw High do a few of them last game, and it is detrimental to the plays happening. Baron's going to go down now. Cloud9 picks up a huge lead. The stats from Baron, and they're going to be able to run with this for a full, fresh 4 minutes. No contest here as well, so everybody's going to make it out nice and alive.
Even Maokai was able to pick up that Baron buff because he respawned. Taking a look at this fight again, I mean, both teams were pretty low from that, but because the shockwave missed Sneaky, all bets are off. They get a nice ultimate off onto Bjergsen. He is not a part of the fight, and tries Wild Turtle May. He just can't get through everyone on the Cloud9 team. Sneaky was enough of a force at this point in the game that he could just finish off. Cloud9, though, doesn't shop after the Baron, and TSM is very heady to go and get this next Dragon.
Seeing what they can get. They know they just walked through rewards, so they're not going to be stopping there. 256 gold off of that Dragon grabbed across the board. 2 of 4, but the Baron is not what's ticking around them. You're going to have to be very careful, but they do have bottom turrets to push.
TSM knows Cloud9 has to go back to base, so it's actually really smart of them to try and keep this pressure up. They want to get as much gold as possible while Cloud9 has this Baron buff to neutralize the game.
Only looking at one really good guard right now on the side of Cloud9. And it looks like they're not going to have to really utilize those. TSM backs off after grabbing the turret. They don't want to be messing with full health Baron team Cloud9 right now. Only a 3,000 gold lead was grabbed out of that. Still the item, actually no, the item thresholds are starting to match up. 3 items on the favor of Cloud9 now with all that gold they've gotten.
Yeah, High is huge, and Sneaky has an itemization edge over Wild Turtle right now.
Yeah.
Wild Turtle just finishing his Bilgewater Cutlass, so he's so far away from a Last Whisper, actually. If Balls can get a little bit more gold, finish his Frozen Heart, it'll be a very difficult tank line for Wild Turtle to cut through. He needed the lifesteal, however, because he's just taking so much auxiliary damage, and the threat of all the poke is just keeping him out of fights.
See High going for that back line quite fast when he gets the chance. So good builds coming in from each side to mitigate. Just dying in general, it helps.
Yeah.
6-5 in turrets. Game number 5 is definitely delivering here from both Cloud9 and the side of TSM. Now another push up mid. This Baron buff has about 2 minutes left on Cloud9. Let's see how they utilize it.
The downed inhibitor also has a minute or two left, so Cloud9 has to keep a lot of attention in the mid lane, even if there's an exposed inhibitor on the other side. High has to go way back as well to clear that minion wave and actually put threat on multiple things. The game looks to stall out for a few minutes here.
High getting a nice push on the bottom. They can go back to the split push if they want to. Meteos' items too amazing as well. He's pretty far up, also putting in some more damage to that build.
Yeah,
nicely done. 30 minutes on the clock.
And the one bad sign here for TSM, even though this is still an incredibly close game, is most of it is being dictated by Cloud9. Even TSM getting the Cloud9 inhibitor was Cloud9 funneling them into a point with which they couldn't return. They took the inhibitor as a byproduct of that, but then still nearly got aced and ended up losing the Baron. Cloud9, with their greater initiation tools, are pushing TSM around the map.
Yeah, TSM having to walk to the beat of C9's drum here, and High is going to start on that bottom inhibitor as well, so TSM to be spread thin. This middle turret, not really what they're worried about right now. Cloud9 trying to get some vision over the wall. TSM still lacking a bit of wards on this side.
There were so many shields on Wild Turtle there, Yasuo actually wouldn't have done anything. That's one of the great things about all the protection they can offer him right here. Although they still have Baron buff for a little while longer.
About a minute.
They're pressuring this inhibitor with their own inhibitor respawn.
Very nicely done. Get these super minion waves going, and they can really start to stop TSM from even wanting to engage back. Dyrus will have to be back at the minion waves, clearing them at the Nexus. That's what Ty's trying to get out of this inhibitor, but nobody can really follow. Nobody wants to get rocked by the shockwave.
Yeah, that last push looked really dangerous for Cloud9. Balls took a fair bit too much damage, but Dyrus has got a lot of damage dealt to him. They are going to recall, though. It doesn't seem like Cloud9 wants to continue this unless Balls is willing to teleport back in.
They're going to stay for the long haul on this.
This is interesting. They are doing this 4v5, actually.
He has a teleport ward just behind the team if they really require to get into it. Nothing's pushed towards the top lane, so they're not going to just be going around the horn on this one. They get this inhibitor. They're going to try to
Balls
go
is
strong
waiting
fight.
for a home guard teleport, it feels like.
There's
now
one.
he's teleporting, and he does have his home guard boots, but it's right on top.
Turtle!
Oh, wow!
Grabs Turtle, forces them out of the fight, but do they have damage on the inhibitor? Yes, Sneaky is focusing that. High gets one Steel Tempest off on the final one, and he is focusing it as well. Balls, he's getting the grievous wounds, but he will be all right from the burn of that explosive shot E. And it looks like they are able to disengage after the inhibitor. Exactly what they wanted. They were just waiting for the tree.
They got the inhibitor, but it wasn't easy. Balls was just finding his moment for that home guard teleport. And pushing Wild Turtle gave them enough time to get that inhibitor down, but amongst all that, no shockwave was used. You can see how protective Bjergsen is over that. When he misses it, it basically means a lost fight, so he's holding it for the pressure of having it. Even so, another down inhibitor with 2 minutes on Baron will create another difficult situation for TSM to defend.
Well, missing one will definitely make you second guess about throwing another one out, and especially in the base, like you said. Just too dangerous to not have that. So holding it, definitely a lot more pressure for the team. Just about a minute across the board for our objectives. Dragon and Baron about to come up, and TSM has the wards on that. The Cloud9 should be clearing quite soon. Tried and tested this best of 5 is for these teams here, and they're doing quite a great job to really rise to the occasion.
Yes, best of 5 has been going on for nearly 5 hours now, but it wouldn't seem like that.
Man, I'm ready after like a 45-minute game to be done.
At this point, 34 minutes in, it can't be much longer until we crown the North American champion.
Oh yeah.
This has been such a close series, pretty back and forth. This is the first game where High has had a neutral performance. 2, 3, and 4, so it's definitely the closest game we have had this set.
I can't imagine what the players are feeling right now as well. Everything kind of riding on their shoulders. Nobody wants to make that one mistake, but everybody wants to be able to make the play as well that will carry their team to victory. If you get the chance, not saying Lustboy is going to dive in with a tidal wave to initiate the fight. I'm sure he'd like to. That'd be a hell of a highlight.
Yeah. 5-man bubble the tidal wave. However, picking a Nami in this game, you almost can't even use your tidal wave because you're against a wind wall and a Braum shield.
Yeah.
It's almost sure to get canceled. It's actually more threat for him to not use the tidal wave because Braum is kind of trained to save his shield for a tidal wave.
Yep.
So if he just never use it, Braum may never use his shield, and it's a really good ability for Braum, yet your tidal wave is going to get canceled anyway.
Cloud9 grabbing up everything around the map. Not going to be hard to get that one. The gold, not really going to help because they're not getting back to buy just yet, but they want everything to deny from Team Solo Mid. It's going to help out. Sweepers across the board with the Scrying Orb going to Dyrus. So they have vision if they lose control over Baron. That's not going to be a problem, but just getting Baron away from Cloud9 is really the task here.
Yeah, and Dyrus just happily keeping that super minion wave at bay. He's getting a lot of free time farming, and Cloud9, for the second straight time, haven't forced anything while that inhibitor was down. They're missing out on these opportunities of winning the game.
Yeah.
They get one step done, but they're not able to capitalize on this next one. TSM playing very safe and sound, keeping waves cleared, not letting themselves get initiated on, using the move speed from Nami and Orianna, and really just keeping Cloud9 at bay. This is absolutely critical for TSM.
Getting tougher though. Negatron cloaks now going across the board, so those void staffs and whatnot that were cutting through Cloud9 and really thwarting their engagements may be a little less powerful. We'll have to see how they use this. High has not gone in on any fights with anyone anytime soon. They've been playing around TSM right now.
Yeah, so nothing done after getting that inhibitor down. For all the risk they took to get it, they actually lose out on it because Dyrus was farming that wave while Balls was missing out on minions. And it's now a near 100 CS advantage between top laners.
Might be why High grabbing up a Guardian Angels. If they're going to have that, maybe now they initiate what they want. Just be a safer objective.
Even so, though, at the same time that they're getting magic resistance to deal with this farmed AP casters, they are becoming more and more vulnerable to Wild Turtle's Tristana. There's a good mix of damage on TSM right here, so the defensive itemization, while nice, isn't game-breaking.
Got to remember that Wild Turtle's going to be getting big. We're only 36 minutes into this game. He still has quite a ways to go. 2 levels till 18, and then he'll be cracking out that long-range damage from Tristana. Good damage onto Balls. They get him in for some nice turret shots there, but the shields keep him safe. Locket of the Iron Solari actually used in fear of an engagement.
Yeah, having an underfarm Maokai is a little bit of a liability here. He's taking a whole bunch of damage. He would have needed to be the one off split pushing, much like Dyrus was, but it just hasn't been an opportunity. And the weaker and weaker Cloud9's tank line becomes, the lower their percentage chance of winning this game is.
TSM trying to dictate mid lane here. Cloud9 will walk parallel for a little bit, but how long can they do this? We saw Team Solo Mid kind of get inside Cloud9's base a little bit ago, and it seems like they may shove them out once again.
Well, this one is a little bit dangerous. They have the backline approach. Meteos hops in, actually.
That's the dodge. TSM has avoided quite a bit. Teleport from Balls coming in actually from the base. Home guard, they're not able to utilize this big engage. Dyrus just out of range on that. Home guard wears off. Not much damage from the shockwave, but the control TSM needs to reassess the fight. Balls gets hit up. The Glacial Fisher on the backside. They bottleneck into this fight and are going for broke. High goes in, tries to get his ultimate down. Last breath has already been used. Coming up with focus. Wow, Turtle! Turtle on the triple. Turtle on the quadra. Meteos on the outside. A second quadra in the playoffs for Turtle.
And even with the kills, even because the fight was so close to Cloud9's base, this could be the end of the series.
This could be it. Team Solo Mid looking to dethrone Cloud9 as the North American champions. They lay down the ward, so they have all the vision necessary. A 10-10, 40-minute game, 60,000 gold apiece on each side, and Meteos trying his damnedest to stop it.
And after all the tension, TSM finds the fight, and Wild Turtle goes wild right there on that last fight, outplaying Cloud9 and carrying TSM to the championship.
That's the ace. That's the game. TSM goes to full 5 and takes down Cloud9 to be the 2014 North American champions.
They have finally done it. They have defeated Cloud9 in the playoffs. This is the #1 team in North America once again.
An incredible ride all playoff weekend. from every game to every team, and another best of 5 to end the finals, as it should be. Tried and tested were both of these teams throughout the entire game, 40-minute matches apiece, trading each other's champions back and forth in Champion Select to take each other down. But TSM comes out on